The following Cutter Degrassi video may contain talking points about suicide, death, shootings, rape, gang violence, drug use, and many other things that are deemed to be inappropriate in society today. Please note that these Degrassi storylines were basically not based on real events, but due to the writers. So viewer discretion is strongly advised. This video is 14 plus. Hey there, hello there, Chef Cutter. I welcome you to the third part of my Degrassi Storylines countdown from 30 to 21. And all these 10 episodes are runners up in their specific seasons. When I did the Reddit polls for each season, all these ones from 30 to 21 were the runners up in their seasons. I won't be getting to the lower end of the season winners till number 18, so just giving you a fair warning. So let the countdown commence. Alright, at number 30 on the list is Claire and Asher from season 12. So Claire was looking to become an intern at a prestigious magazine. And Claire learned that her boss really liked her a lot. And then Asher tried to force himself onto Claire in a car. Claire is scared and all that. Also scared that if she ends up telling on Asher, then she could lose her internship and all that. So basically, that was huge. I should have put like Claire's cancer scare and all that. I don't know. I think I put Claire's cancer in season 12. I can't remember if I did or not. But anyway, yeah, Claire with Asher. It was weird. Because Claire just beat her cancer, her sarcoma, on her back. And she was getting this newspaper thing. And basically, she screwed up a story with sewing and tried to retract. But the publisher said that Claire didn't have to worry because she beat cancer. That's worth something. So yeah, so Claire managed to get Asher fired, and I think she did get the internship after all. At number 29 on the list was Drew and Bianca's problems from season 11. So Drew had a lot of girlfriend drama, especially in like seasons 9 and 10 when he was on the show. But in season 11, he was dating this girl, Bianca, who basically seemed like a bad girl in a sense. And Adam and Drew's mom tries her best to break them up because she doesn't want Drew falling into Bianca's thing. So Drew has a thing with Bianca, a forbidden romance, and then a boy by the name of I can't remember the name of the guy. Ashton or something like that. He decides to try to sexually hurt Bianca. And then all of a sudden, Drew decides to... No, Anson, sorry. Then Drew decides to protect him, but Anson overpowers Drew. But Bianca, behind Anson, cracks his head open with a rock and kills him. And then, for some reason, Bianca leaves her necklace at the scene of the crime. Someone picks it up and looks at it. Drew takes the fall for Bianca with how Anson died because he knows that Bianca will probably be in a whole lot of trouble. And the police would never believe Bianca saying that, she did it in self-defense. So he gets into deep trouble. Bianca gets drawn to Vince, as Vince tells Bianca that as long as Bianca works for him, then he'll leave Drew and everyone else alone. However, when Drew hears this, Drew tries to do the right thing by talking to Vince about leaving his friends alone. Unfortunately, Vince goes to the dance in season 11 with vengeance on his mind, going after Drew. Bianca tells Drew, "Why did you say something? It's never going to be over." So Vince decides to shoot at somebody and managed to hit Adam instead of Drew. I'm not sure if Vince knew he was going after Adam's brother, well, quote-unquote brother, or not. But anyway, Adam gets shot. Vince flees. The gun is off. Bianca picks up the gun and is ready to go to Vince's hideaway and shoot him and end this thing once and for all. At the hospital, Adam cracks a joke with Eli. When Eli says, "Look on the bright side. Girls like scars." And then Adam said, yeah, it's probably another thing I have to explain to the doctor when I'm undressed, with my shirt off. So basically, yeah, that was huge. Drew feels bad for what happened to Adam, but Audra blames Bianca, and Drew says, no, Bianca needs help. She'll need a good lawyer. She'll need everything. This is my problem. I got too involved, and my brother almost died. I want to do something for him. So he decides to get his mom to help Bianca, and that works. Bianca becomes a better person. And unfortunately, Vince ends up in season 13 being let loose. It's like, what the hell? It just doesn't make sense. I thought he would be in jail for a long time, but guess lack of evidence. I don't know. Next on the list at number 28 is Degrassi Nudes from season 14. I'm actually surprised that wasn't the number one thing from season 14. When I look at the list, it's like, that's weird. Anyhow, in season 14, the Degrassi cheerleading team Spirit Squad wants better outfits, so they decide to have a fundraiser online. Nothing wrong with that, but then they decide to sell provocative nude photos of themselves to other people. Unfortunately, half the people come from the Degrassi school. Even Frankie's brother Hunter buys the Degrassi nudes. It's like, what the hell, Hunter? I don't get it with you. So, yeah, so they basically do the oomph chat and gets a lot of money and all that. But Frankie gets a little worried about it. And instead of Zoe being the head cheerleader and understanding Frankie's problems, decides to cut Frankie from the squad and tells Frankie that she cannot tell anyone about Degrassi Nudes about what's happened because Frankie's just as implicated. That starts a cat and mouse game about blackmail and all that. Hunter was seeing the weird images and all that, thinking that Hunter was doing something with Degrassi Nudes, but no, he wasn't. He was buying them. What an idiot. Anyway, so the cheerleaders think they're off the hook for things. Claire and Frankie both try to destroy each other. And then there's an anonymous message sent to everybody in the school through their cell phones. So they're trying to track them down. At the same time, is Mayor Hollingsworth, or Councillor Hollingsworth, is trying to become the Toronto mayor and makes a pit stop and says that Degrassi will get a new wing and all that. Kind of the way that he thinks that Degrassi gets underfunded and all that. So throughout his campaign, he's happy, but Miles is not too happy about his father being around and accidentally starts a fire with Maya. In the meantime, with the blackmail that someone kidnaps him and is blackmailing. It's Winston, as Winston basically decides to help Frankie out by trying to blackmail Zoe so that, Frankie will get back together with him. Zoe's upset that, Winston would do such a thing just to please his girlfriend. However, Lola and the other cheerleaders convince Zoe that this is a way for Zoe to come clean about the Degrassi Nudes because everyone's going to hate you forever and ever. And so the fire thing happens and the fires are put out. Miles feels a lot better as he manages to get Frankie and Hunter to turn their back on their dad, who says, "You're going to cause this scene, well, during my election? Fine. You can have your mom pick you up. But I'm going to be mayor." And somehow he was. I thought it would have been an unhappy ending for the Hollingsworths. So anyway, Miles does tell Maya to check up on him every so often, but Maya says, "No, I think you're good." And I think Maya's happy that she got to help Miles when she did. And then Zoe talks to Sig, but then she decides to go to the police and admit her guilt and all that. The fallout is huge. Simpson gets thrown out because of his lack of knowledge of the Degrassi Nudes. Miss Pill comes in and does some weird policies. The cheerleaders are all thrown in detention for the rest of the year. No expulsions, no suspensions. Zoe is lucky she got a good lawyer because she would have been serving 5 years in jail for child pornography and all that. And a lot of people thought that they underpunished those Degrassi Nudes, especially Grace. She set up the website and all that. I think that there was no evidence leading to Grace, so Grace got lucky. And a lot of people were like, why would Zoe be such a dick in season 14 when in season 13 she was the victim? But a lot of people actually do say that because, she was victimized. She was trying to gain control of her body and gain control of things and put people on the good side and not be disappointing and all that. So that's probably it. So next on the list is number 27, and that's Alli running away from home in season 10. It's kind of weird how that was runner-up. But anyway, coming from the storyline that actually won season 10, I will talk about that later on. Alli gets transferred to a private school because of her promiscuity or something like that. But Alli getting in trouble for Vegas night that her parents found out about her files, quote unquote. It was because Alli and Bianca were fighting and all that for the right for Drew. And Alli went to a different school. However, one of her classmates frames her for smoking on campus. And basically, Alli's parents listen to that girl's parents and doesn't let Alli explain herself. Basically, takes the boot to Alli. Well, Sav doesn't have to do much. So Alli complains. Sav basically blasts her and all that for not taking control of the situation. However, Alli runs away. Her parents are not sure where she is. Mr. Bandari goes looking for her in the truck, and Mrs. Bandari tells Sav that you're good with computers. See what's on her screen and all that. Do it for me. Sav is unsure what to do, but he finally realizes that Alli had a right to her privacy. But, he can't go wrong with his parents. Can't go through with his parents. So they find out a lot of cryptic hints and all that. Sav helps his dad try to find Alli. And, Mr. Bandari cries and says that when you have teenage kids, you'll understand this is hard to deal with teenagers. Alli is actually in Toronto, at University of Toronto, with Johnny DeMarco, saying that I should hide out with you. And Johnny, who's more mature now than he used to be, says that you can't run away from your problems. And then he realized the message that he was with his best friend who stabbed somebody who didn't deserve it because of a stupid Degrassi Lakehurst feud. So Johnny DeMarco was a witness to Drake Lampley stabbing JT. And of course that will be in the top 10, I hope. So basically, Alli learns that she's going to go back to her family. She feels bad about it, but Alli's family, the Bandaris, decide to go to family therapy. And it actually works, that the parents are much better. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Bandari do let their guard down a little bit because of the strictness, but in the end, that they're kind of responsible for why Sav rather be with his arranged marriage than Anya. And that just pisses me, right? So next on the list is number 26, and that's the Manny and Craig storyline from season 2. I kind of am suspicious that was actually runner-up because I thought there was some good stuff from that season. Manny wants to find a guy who respects her and all that, and Craig fits the bill. In fact, Manny and Emma both fawn over Craig when they sneak into the 80s dance for the seniors and all that. In the midst of Emma trying to break up Snake and Spike, I think because of embarrassment that her mom's dating her teacher. But anyhow, Manny is with Craig. Emma is upset because she wanted Craig and all that. After all, she went through the breakup with Sean. But that's neither here nor there. Manny and Craig go on a few dates. They both have different experiences about the date and all that. They both try to fix this, but season 3 brings a whole new meaning to the Manny-Craig relationship, and that will be in the top 20 for sure. All right, so next at number 25 is when Adam dies in season 13. Degrassi fans were really upset when Cam died in season 12. And yes, that will be part of the top 10, but in what spot, I'm not telling you. So anyway, in season 13, Adam was just getting around to things. He was a trans character who wanted to be with a girl, and Becky seemed to be a good fit, despite the fact that Becky seemed to be very judgmental and very conservative Christian because, her parents are conservative Christians and her dad's a minister. So Becky basically is in the vein of Darcy and Claire in a sense that they're pushing religion on things. However, Becky turns around thanks to Jenna and is less of a problem. But at the end of the day, Adam was contemplating Becky and also Imogen, which was weird. But anyway, Adam had a falling out with Imogen and then decides to talk to Becky, saying that she's the one. Unfortunately, though, Becky's parents are not too happy with Adam. And Becky even tried to go through conversion therapy, but thought better of it. Adam decides to text Becky while he's driving, texting and driving. And then, poof, he crashes into a tree. He survives for a little bit, but then he dies in the next episode, and Drew's upset, and everyone's upset. But Adam just had to go like that. The writers did Adam dirty. I gotta say this from the top of my heart. That, you have a character that makes Canadian TV history, and then all of a freaking sudden, you kill him off with texting and driving. I know the actress probably wanted to leave the show, but like texting and driving, you could have found any other way to kill Adam off. Fuck. The school goes out for his funeral, and it's great and all that. Becky even does something at the park. No one comes, but then they finally come in to play. Imogen doesn't know anything about Becky. Becky doesn't know anything about Imogen. So basically, Becky and Imogen have problems dealing with Adam's death. And Imogen turns gay and all that. But not because of, losing Adam. But I think Imogen was trying to find her own sexual identity. And it was a pretty good storyline with Jack. Although Imogen and Fiona was a better storyline. I guess maybe Imogen was dating Adam to get her mind off girls. I don't know. But yeah, Becky would not really have a good relationship. And the funny thing is, Becky would date Drew in season 14. And it's like, what the hell, Drew? What are you doing, man? All right. So number 24 on the list. Hang on a sec. Yeah, 24 on the list is Sean and Emma rekindling in season 6. So Sean and Emma went through a bumpy relationship. Season 1, it was broken up by Sean accidentally pushing Emma in a fight with Jimmy. The second time around, Sean abandoned Emma for the Candy Bandits, that being Jay's gang. And then a potential third rekindling in season 4 after Sean saves Emma from being shot by Rick. But Sean goes back to Wasaga Beach to deal with his PTSD because he killed Rick. And Emma was a little forlorn. But in season 6, Emma is just coming off getting rid of her eating disorder. And all of a sudden, Sean pops up in her life. And it's like, what the heck? He's back? Sean came back for Emma because Sean realized that Emma was the perfect girl for him. Unfortunately, Manny tells Sean that, Emma's happy and with Peter. But Peter is unsure about things because, he hears from Manny about the Emma-Sean dynamic. I think Manny might try one. I think Manny wanted to break up Peter and Emma. I don't know. So anyway, Peter tries to talk to Sean as a friend and all that. But he doesn't get a vibe. Peter asks Emma who she'd rather be with, him or Sean. Emma doesn't give a straight answer. So Peter decides the best way to get an answer out of Emma, to keep Emma, is to frame Sean with drugs in his locker. Sean's expelled. Emma doesn't believe him at first. And then Sean is coursed by Jay for a street race with Peter. The winner gets Emma. Sean unfortunately hits a pedestrian. He doesn't die. And Sean flees at Jay's behest. Because, Peter will get off scot-free because he's a minor. So Sean hides with Emma. Emma turns Sean in a sense. And Sean's in prison. And then Peter and Emma are together in season 6. And things look rosy. But Jay and Manny team up to try to tell Emma that she's jumping the gun with Sean. And that Peter was the bad guy. And of course, strange as it sounds, Emma really had a feeling about Sean in season 6. It's like, why can't I shake Sean? I mean, he's a criminal. And then she tells Manny at the masquerade dance, in which she decides to try to raise money for a public defender for Sean. It's like, wow, why does she have these feelings about Sean and all that? Even though Peter helped her at the hospital with her eating disorder. She kind of got that wrong because in season 5, it was Manny who was holding Emma's hand in that scene when she was at the hospital, not Peter. Peter was talking to Snake. So she doesn't know much. And I originally thought that I heard Manny in the episode say something about who defended you from Rick's shotgun, from Rick's gun in season a couple years ago. Maybe that's why Emma feels about Sean. She still has the guilt over the fact that Sean saved her life and hurt Rick in the process. But then Manny says, well, how did he get that mask in your locker, Emma? What? Emma puts two and two together and talks to Peter, and Peter says, okay, yes, I put the mask in your locker. And Emma said, did you do that as well as framing Sean for drugs? I had to do it for the relationship. Emma tells Peter not to go anywhere near him ever again. Her again. So Emma and Sean are item. Sean was given a chance to probably come back, as Snake was going to talk to Hatzalakos, but Sean realized that, Peter is Hatzalakos' son, and I don't think it wouldn't have mattered. So Peter gets off scot-free. I just wish that Emma had forced Peter to come clean to his mom about everything. Or she should have said something to Hatzalakos, because I think Peter got away with it that way. So anyway, Sean and Emma are an item. But Sean is angry when Emma says that she went to the ravine with Jay and all that, even though Emma said, I had issues. I was not myself. Sean leaves for the airport, but then he sees the picture of him and Emma on their first date and then decides, I can't be that guy. And Emma says, I can't be perfect, Sean. I'm not that person anymore. The perception is different. Of course, with her zombie Emma phase, she got reset. Sean and Emma have a relationship. They have to deal with JT being stabbed, Snake being a little awkward about them having sex and all that. Sean is called away to the army because, without a high school education, what else is he going to do? So he decides to go to the army. Emma wants to use a fake pregnancy to lure Sean back in, but she realizes she can't do that. She can't be that person. And let Sean go, and is upset when Sean doesn't send correspondence throughout most of season 7, leaving Emma high and dry. But he does come back for 24 hours, and it was okay, in a sense. A lot. But anyway, Spinner, of course, got expelled in season 4 for his involvement with the Rick Murray situation, and he made it a mission to get everyone back on his side. He knew that it would take a long time before they would forgive him, but he was willing to do it. He comes back to the school. Hatzalakos tells Spinner, no more of your stupidity. One false move, and I'm kicking you out. And Spinner says, I understand. So Spinner spends the majority of season 5 trying to get help. And he's serious because he goes to Darcy and the Christian club to try to friendship club to try to make himself feel better. He asked Darcy, why does God love me? God can't love me because of what I did to Jimmy. But Darcy said, don't worry, he does. So Darcy helps Spinner deal with things. And then Spinner decides to, quote-unquote, break up with Jay. When Jay actually comes crashing the friendship club thing. And Spinner yells at Jay, saying, why do I have to follow you? Every time I'm around you, dumb things happen to me. I should never have believed your stuff. And, course, Rick to shoot Jimmy. And, it did hurt. It hurt Jay because Jay was like, why did Spinner break up with me, in a sense? So Spinner uses Darcy's help to try to get everyone back together. Eventually, by the second half of season 5, he does. He helps Marco deal with the friendship club. Spinner quits the friendship club because they don't want Spinner around Marco because he's homosexual. And he decides to save Marco from a tongue lashing and get himself in trouble. Marco is appreciative and actually does forgive Spinner for his trespasses. Then Paige does, then everyone else does. And then at a carnival thing, Spinner manages to get Jimmy to throw balls to dunk him and all that. And Spinner eggs Jimmy on to dunk him because it will make Jimmy feel better. And Jimmy feels a lot better. And Spinner and Jimmy finally get back together as friends. And Spinner's redemption arc was one of the best ever, if not the best redemption arc ever. And you can put that to the bank. All right, so number 22 on the list is the Catfishing Story, the first ever major storyline from Degrassi Next Generation. In the premiere episode, Emma talks to Manny about a boy named Jordan who she saved who's helping him save some environmental stuff. And, she's fawning over him. However, like he wants her to meet at a motel. And with new friends JT and Toby around, they tell Emma that this is not a good idea. And Emma basically said that he's not a stranger. I've known him longer than I've known you two. Caitlin tells Emma that she should go for it, even though Emma's like 13. So Emma decides to meet the guy at the motel. Manny, JT, and Toby have their doubts and try to hack into Emma's computer to fix this problem. So they find out that, he's in a motel room and the messages look creepy. Emma then gets the bus or in taxi and gets to the motel to meet Jordan, but Jordan actually is a middle-aged man. Emma realizes it and tries to flee, but Jordan locks everything behind her and basically wants to force himself onto Emma. Fortunately, though, Manny, JT, and Toby bust into the high school reunion, because the Degrassi reunion, where we saw a lot of the OGs like Caitlin, Joey, Dwayne, and even Will's made an appearance. If you were American, you missed, first run, you missed Will's trying to apologize to Lucy for the offense of Schools Out in '92, but serving a lot of jail time. But anyway, yeah. So they busted in and tell Spike about the problems. Spike and Snake go to fix the problem, and Snake manages to thwart the guy's problems. Emma is upset over what she did. She made a dumb mistake. Spike says, you should come to me with your problems. And Emma makes some kind of thing. Emma feels a little bad about herself, but in the end, she got saved. And the catfishing could possibly have been why she was uncomfortable with Liberty being with Coach Armstrong in season 1. But basically, she had a good reason to. She was catfished. And finally, to end this video, number 21 is Jane's football story from season 8. Now, I know there was another Jane's story in season 8 that actually was the best in season 8, so I'll leave it at that. But Jane's football odyssey was that Springfield, Degrassi was finally having a football team after so many years without one. And funny as it sounded, the Shep, whose principal is the coach of the football team, and the football team doesn't want Jane on the team because, girls can't play football. Jane's a good kicker and is actually very good, but some of the teammates like Danny and Derek don't want her around because of things. Even though Jane's a hero, she doesn't get congratulated by the team. Not even from Coach Shep. So Jane tries her best for gender equality in football. And of course, when the Shep gets in trouble for his comments towards Connor and all the non-jocks in particular, Jane stands up and says, I don't want the Shep around because, you didn't protect me from the bullying on the football team. And when Shep comes back from sensitivity training, he tells Jane Jane can be back on the football team if she wants. But he makes some kind of weird comment that I think Jane is not going to come back to the football team anytime soon. So sorry, Shep. You fucked up. You fucked up. Anyway, thanks for watching. The top 20 will be in the next video, I promise.